2024 has come to an end. At least when this video is published, it's midnight on the 1st of January 2025 in Germany, where I'm from. So, Happy New Year to all of you, or for those that are still approaching the new year, ein guten Rutsch, which means like have a good slide. You know, step bro, what are you doing type of thing, you know? Not just kidding, because it has nothing to do with that. But I wanted to make this video to give a small update because I'll go on a break and I'll talk about this in a moment. And then we follow this up with an FAQ, because whenever I tried to record this video, I started rambling so much that I thought, okay, how about you guys actually get to hear the answers to the questions that you have instead of me just talking about things that I think would be good. But before I get into this, I want to say thank you guys so much. This is my second year as a full-time YouTube content creator. So on the 1st of January, it's my 2-year anniversary. So not my second year, it's now my 3rd year. And without you guys, nothing of this would be possible. I'm so thankful and so grateful for this entire thing because I absolutely love it. And 2024 has been by far the best year I've ever had. And it's not even close. Like, we are talking in multitudes better. I know that some people take this as, oh, it's mandatory that he has to say that, you know, because otherwise it looks so arrogant or so. No, but like, I think from the perspective of a content creator, it's always the way you view it, while people kind of think like, get it done with. So thank you, okay? I really appreciate it. I'm super grateful that you allow me to do this as my job. But let's start with the break. So, starting in January, I will be on a 1 to 2 month break. Yes, okay. So, as I said, 2024 has been by far the most insane year, but also the year where I had like very little sleep, okay? And it was super exciting and a huge amount of fun, but I'm noticing I've hit my limit for a while now. So, I need a break. I need some recovery. And this doesn't mean that I won't upload for 1 to 2 months. This rather means, like, I've done this a couple of times now, like pretty much every single year. But pretty much what this means is when I feel insanely excited and also restored, like not too exhausted, then I will randomly upload videos in that time period. But until we return to a normal schedule, it will take some time. I don't know how long. It could be 2 months, it could be 1 month, it could be 1 week. And I say like, dude, I need this, I need to get back. I can't tell you, but this is why I wanted to rather make this video instead of a post that I usually do, because then people can see this video and be like, ah, that's what's going on, he doesn't like us anymore. No, I need a break. Well, that was actually a lot easier to talk about than I thought. Usually, again, I ramble all the time, so I would say let's get to your question, guys. And the way I will do it with the questions is I will take out those that I can respond to, not on a personal level, like on these questions if it's specific, and more like something that may answer the question for a lot of things. So here's a good example. Would you ever consider playing Balat? So I will take this question as, would you ever consider playing X? The way I decide on games is it has to be fitting to my channel and what I think will be successful. Success is just another word for interest of the audience. And also sometimes, like for example, Dungeon Crawler started just because I had a lot of fun with it. So I try to mix it up, but it's always also on my mind. It's my job. It's like the stuff that gives like that brings the food to my table, right? So there is a certain bias, but money is not my sole motivator. It's also not even the biggest one. It's a mix of many things. Regarding Balatro, I've checked it out. I didn't really like it. Like, I haven't played it. I have seen it. I don't really like it, but maybe we'll have a stream day one day. And if I really enjoy it, then I will play more of it. But let's see about that in the future. The general answer though to this question about any game is you can definitely make game recommendations. However, if you don't see them appear on my channel, there is one of 1,000 reasons why I didn't decide to do it. So summarize, the comment is about the failed runs that I have in the game, that I could just upload them like on a secondary channel, make like one big video, and honestly speaking, I don't dislike the idea, but I also give like comments to myself that I hear when I edit. Like, I call out myself to pay more attention to something when something went wrong or so, and that doesn't really work out there, you know? And also, failed runs is more like, if they are not optimal, then I redo them. Or if I gamble on something and it's not great. But the main reason why I don't do it is just it doesn't fit on the channel, so I could put it on a secondary channel. And we've talked a couple of times about uncut videos that I want to have them on a second channel. The main reason why I haven't done it is it's too much effort. Because I would still need to comb through them and cut out certain things. You know, because they are personal, or I start a random call, for example, when I have a long potato game, and things like this that I don't want to have in there. So I have it on my mind, but it's definitely not something that I have on a list that will happen anytime soon. Do you prefer builds in horde games that are SMG-like, so low damage and high attack speed, or RPG-like, high damage, low attack speed? To that, it's low damage and high attack speed. In general, I love the chaos because it goes like, you know, I really like that. But also, it feels more active. For example, in Monster Hunter World, my main weapons were dual blades and bow, both very agile weapons that attack a lot, and I liked it a lot more. Regarding my favorite video game, I almost feel like, depending on when you ask me, this will constantly change. Like, I have favorites. Terraria, I think Minecraft is amazing. Warcraft 3 was a huge thing. Warlords Battlecry 2 is up there. Monster Hunter World is definitely up there. Or maybe the PSP version, Monster Hunter Unite, back then. But, like, okay, the list is so long that I probably forgot like 3/4 of all of them. So it's a little bit tough to answer. How in the world is your voice so nice to listen to? Now, personally speaking, I don't really like my voice. I also have nothing against it, but I don't think it's good. So glad that you guys enjoy it. Yay. Potato cosplay when? Well, if my hair continues for a couple of years like this, then I'll be a potato in a couple of years. How do you find the time and energy to do what you do? That is actually a good question, and I think a big part of that is that I just really enjoy it, but also I was a very competitive person. Like, I always love games where it's about competing against each others and winning. And YouTube is kind of like that because you constantly have these numbers, right? And then I try to improve myself, like with the videos and also the type of stuff I upload and what I do, which is kind of like a constant fight against myself. With the only issue being that it's quite a big mental toll on you because you constantly have this feedback with numbers, right? Like, imagine your job, every like hour, your boss just comes by and evaluates what you're doing. Now, this may work when you have good days, but it doesn't feel great when you already have a bad day because this just like, you know, pushes you further down, punches you further down. But I would say it's mostly that I just really enjoy it. Like, I have so much fun with it and it really fits my personality because I'm a guy, I can sit in a game for 20 hours and grind it straight. And this was the same thing at my old job. I could sit there for like 12 hours, completely forget about time, and then I receive a warning because I overstayed like longer than 10 hours. And when you do that in Germany, then you need to submit like a formal thing to say, hey boss, I'm gonna stay later and you need to send this to HR, and if you don't do that, then you get a bonk. And I got a lot of bonks because I forgot about time. What advice would you give to smaller creators trying to grow? How do you give yourself the motivation to continue making videos when the views are not there? So, I'll be honest, okay? I was in a position where I felt really bad. And this was after the initial hype of Vampire Survivors when stuff started slowing down. And this was after the phase where Asmongold checked out a guide of mine. And I was actually quite desperate because I had no idea what to do. Like, no other game was working on my channel, and I only got like stuck on Vampire Survivors. Everything else performed badly, but Vampire Survivors was also going down. So it's like, okay, what do I do? And I did something quite embarrassing. I sent like 10 messages to Asmongold on Discord that I sent it, deleted it, send it, deleted it, where I pretty much asked for advice or like a mini mentorship or something like this, because I was like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. It's like you know, I want to continue. I don't want to lose this, but it looks like it's all slipping out of my hand. And I pretty much, honestly, I think what I did was just like, I can't change anything either way. I'll just continue with it and stick through. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And this sounds a lot easier now than it was because it was a huge mental toll on me. Because again, you constantly see these numbers, but you don't have a lot of options. Like, what are you supposed to do, right? You can't really say, oh, I do this now, and then it just happens and it works. So pretty much what I've been doing since then is I just continue. And I think I'm quite good at identifying what works for my viewers and my channel, and when I notice a trend that I try to outperform that. I don't think this really helps, it's like a non-answer, like, oh, go find your path kind of thing, but I think this is actually the best answer, and sometimes it's also not meant to be. I don't mean you here in particular, okay? I just mean in general, not everything is always meant to work out, and sometimes it just doesn't. But as long as you treat it as a hobby, as long as you don't do it full time, okay? As long as you treat it more like a hobby, I think it takes away a lot of the stress and makes you a lot more calm. You said you don't do many collaborations with other YouTubers because you're smaller or shy. Smaller is a matter there, but less that I actively say I'm smaller, I can't, and more like if you try to reach out as a smaller, way smaller YouTuber to a bigger one, you will get ignored. Now, shy, I highly doubt because I'm really not shy. I'm kind of the opposite of shy. But it's more like, uh, especially when you have like American YouTubers, then you have to align schedule and stuff like this, and I'm just like, dude, like, I just want to do it my way. And I don't even think I get that much out of collaborations. Like, I think nowadays collaborations are so much worse on YouTube. So it's like, you get like a minimal thing out of it, so it's not really worth it for me. So I also don't see a change for that unless someone reaches out to me, which has happened a couple of times, but again, the main issue is just this time difference. I did do a couple of collabs on my channel. Did I do more than 3 collabs or 2 collabs? I'm actually not sure. But they were with Benewolf because we get along well with each other, but it's also nothing that I would like regularly do. Not because of him, but just because of you need to set up all of this. And I'm very much a person who's like, okay, now I get going. I just jump into it without really scheduling stuff. But I can't tell what will happen next year. If there will be random collaborations out of nowhere, I definitely have nothing against them. I would love to do a few of them, but nothing is planned. Now that you're almost finished with Potato, are you considering playing other games? I honestly don't consider it finished at all. I get what you mean, because I'm also getting to a point where I'm struggling a bit coming up with ideas that I think are interesting, so it's kind of like ringing the bell where it says, okay, Potato is coming to an end for now, until we have the next DLC or character update. However, what I'll do, no idea. But you listed a few options there. Souls and story games is like completely the opposite of what appears on my channel. And if you take a look over the uploaded videos that I have, you notice that a lot of videos are performing like normal or good. And then there are those that perform horribly bad. And those are videos even of like horde survivors, but they are unknown. So they get less views. But if I upload something completely out of line, no one watches them. And it's not even really about the money and the views, like it is, okay, again, it's a job, but it's more about, okay, why do I do something when the people that should watch it don't care about it, right? It's like a little bit weird. If you run a store, you don't put up items that no one wants to buy, no matter if you like them or not. Tell us a bit about yourself, because we mainly know Dex the YouTuber. Honestly, that's something where I answer stuff on stream when someone talks to me. I would say my stream personality is the closest to my real personality, but it's not like I fake myself in videos. It's more like in videos you get to see one particular side of me. And I will also say I don't like parasocial relationships or really saying like, oh yeah, that's me, Dex, hey, let's get to know each other, let's be friends, because we are not. Okay, nothing against anyone, okay? But right, like, I don't like people that pretend that like they build up something personal where it isn't. Like, I will talk back with people that write a comment or write in the stream, and I would even give advice that is friend-like. You know how a friend would does it to you? I totally don't mind that because I think we have an amazing vibe on this channel. However, I don't want to create an illusion where people start believing we are like a close-knit friend group and oh, we gotta support Dex and hey, let's drop some donations and stuff. That's not my type of style, okay? Also, the face reveal, nope. I don't intend to ever do one. I don't think I'll ever do one. It's just like I don't even care if someone sees my face. Like I have no issue with it. It's more like I don't see the point. I don't feel like doing it, so I'll not do it. What would you say to anyone considering moving to Germany? Well, you better start drinking some beer, dude. Otherwise, you get thrown out again. Aside from that, okay, honestly, I don't really want to talk about such topics here, but one thing I'll say is for me personally, I view Germany like this old, slow country that is very stable and safe. I don't want to start a political topic here, so save your comments, okay? For the people that I'm talking about, they know who I'm talking about. But like in comparison to something like America, looks more like an Achterbahn, you know, like a roller coaster, except that you kind of remove the security parts of it, so you don't know, do I fall out, do I not fall out, do I speed up, is it meant to speed up, oh, who knows, it's exciting, you know, that's like the kind of stuff, you know. And there are some countries that really excite me, like Japan and Korea and things like this. But honestly, what I really enjoy about Germany is it's just very safe and stable. Even if this means that we use old stuff that is outdated, but at least we are kind of not like the guinea pigs, you know, where like stuff is experimented on, even though that does mean that sometimes or oftentimes we are kind of behind other countries. Looking back from where you started, is there anything you would change about your path so far? Honestly, not really. I would say in the first year that I do a lot less because I had like a mental collapse afterwards, and I'm not even joking, sadly. like, um, yeah. But aside from like, and that I get more sleep, and even now that I don't put that much time into it, and also allow myself more free time and to like, you know, do stuff with people and don't just be isolated with work in quotation marks, you know, playing and stuff. But aside from that, no, I would say I'm quite happy. Why is Weiser Glühwein so horrible? I honestly, I don't really know. I've never tried it. What do you think makes a good roguelike for you? Is it experimentation or a possibility for something stupid specific theme to work? That's a good question, and I think this is such an individual answer. You know, just because I say something here does not mean this generally applies, but from a YouTuber perspective and from a Dex perspective, I really like games that feel different, but here's now the first problem, right? Depending on what you played, you are used to different things. So this is like not something you can really use as a developer. But at the same time, I also love it when games go crazy, like when you can take them crazy. And I never understood why games take that out for the sake of I don't even know what. And Dungeon Crawler is an amazing example there, where Bargain was like the ticket to hell to go utterly crazy and try out the most insane things that normal people don't get to experience because they just play until the boss level, right? And this was so much fun for me, and when they took it out, the question I have until this day is, but why? Like like why? What is the reason behind it? Like what is the goal? What do you want to achieve with that? Just like that people don't go endless always with just like infinite money or so? I mean, I kind of understand it, but why do you even need that? Why do you need this competition, right? Because you only do that when you compare bills. And I like this craziness a lot. When did you start thinking of creating a YouTube channel and why only Horde Survivors? To the YouTube channel, honestly, I've done this a couple of times in the past with other channels, but here it was more like I came across my clips, like I used to upload them privately to YouTube to look at them, and I kind of wished I would just see the entire game. And while I was thinking about it, I was like, hey, I could just stream, right? So I was streaming on Twitch, and I used my YouTube channel that I had here as a VOD dump to just store all of the VODs. And that's how it's like nothing special. But why only Horde Survivors? Um, it's kind of not. We have a lot of other game types that are not Horde Survivors, but it is mostly Horde Survivors because one of these stream VODs was of Vampire Survivors that popped off, and that just like, you know, blew up my channel. That's like it wasn't really a choice. It's just the stuff that worked out, and I was really in love with Vampire Survivors. If you watch like the old Vampire Survivors videos, I even talk about it where I say like, okay, I know Vampire Survivors was meant as a filler game that I just play in between games or when I need like a break or something like this, and now I'm back at it again, but trust me, I'll go back to Monster Hunter Rise. That's the type of stuff like that I said there, and I just got so hooked in it then that it was like a jackpot, right? Like the game that gets you super hooked is the one that also was so successful on my channel. How do you feel about games that add items that reflect you and or other YouTubers? For other YouTubers, I think it's cool. For myself, I really dislike it, and it doesn't mean I hate it when someone contacts me, but I don't like putting myself as a person into anything. Okay, okay, I may have a handful of exceptions there. No, my what I mean with that is it's not about me as a person, right? So whenever someone contacts me and says like, "Hey Dex, do you want to be in this game?" or "We want to put you in a game," and they want like, for example, Dungeon Crawler will add a skin of me in the future, probably already happened when this video goes live. I try to make the skin as fitting to the most popular video that I have in Dungeon Crawler, based on strength with the magnet guy. Like, this was the entire inspiration behind that. If it was a personal selection, I would have done something quite different, but I also don't really want to have my brand in there, right? Because it's a game. Like, I don't want to have my face in that. Like, a hint or something, totally fine, but it should feel like it belongs to the game. That is my personal opinion, you know. I don't mind if anyone else does whatever they want to do, you know, it's their thing, but I personally, I don't like that because I view myself more like a very insignificant minor part. Sure, you know, for some games it has a big impact if you upload a lot of videos and people move over, but I'm more like just like the messenger is how I view myself as a YouTuber. I just take the message, which is the game, and I deliver it to you guys. Sure, the delivery may be fun, for others not so much fun, but you know, that's how I view myself, rather insignificant. So if a game decides to put us in, it feels a little bit weird to me because every player gets to see that and it's like, yeah, but I'm kind of just like all of the other players and they didn't get anything, right? So it's like, yeah, eh. How long does it on average take to produce one video, the gameplay cutting? Honestly, that entirely depends on the video. I had lazy videos where I literally just recorded like 30 minutes, cut them down to like 24 minutes, so just the breaks out, uploaded that. And that is mostly on days where otherwise no video would come. So my like train of thought is, okay, you guys would usually get nothing. So instead you'll get a lazy video and it's more like it's better than nothing at all, right? So it has nothing to do with, oh, I gotta put out content. It's more like, it's still better than nothing because I didn't have time or so. And I would say that takes like 45 minutes at most. And then there are other videos where I recorded alone for like 50 plus hours, like just the recording, and the editing is actually worse because the longer a video is, the harder it gets to edit it. Because, like, have you ever tried to summarize a small article or so, like just a 2-pager on a half page? Yeah, that's manageable. Now do 50 pages on like 2 pages, and it's like, oh god, how do I put this together that it even makes sense, right? That it has the necessary information in there, that you understand the main points, because even just the explanation is already like 1 page, but the main thing is also supposed to be there, so it's like, okay, this gets a lot harder. But yeah, so I would say I had videos that took more than 100 hours easily. And sadly, one of those that I loved the most was the 100% completion of Plants vs. Zombies 2. I put a huge amount of work into that and had so much fun editing it. And like, I didn't expect all too much. And this is a good example of things that just like they don't fit to the channel, and it got not even 10,000 views. You know, I was like, okay, maybe 20,000, you know, like at a point where an average video got like 40, 50,000 views, maybe 20,000. It's like, oh no, I put so much work into that and it just completely died. A random question, but considering a lot of YouTubers say views and the 1 out of 10 rating system affects them mentally, does the thing as a variety of games YouTuber affect your mood after working hard for video and seeing its stats? I don't think this has to do with any, like in any way what you do. Yes, it does. I have it blocked. Like, I have something installed. It's a plugin specifically for that to remove views and these rankings and stuff. Like, the worst thing is that sometimes I went on YouTube with like the super excited mood, you know, and I was happy to respond to comments, but the first thing you see is your dashboard, so it shows like, oh, the last video performed so bad. Even if you expected bad performance, to see it and these indicators that show like it's like a gray downwards arrow that shows you, oh, it was really bad. And it's like, you know, you just feel drained already. And the more you see that, the more it drains you. Like, you don't need to be beaten down when you already know things aren't going great. And the irony is, for me, whenever I have upside periods and I constantly saw that, I didn't feel good. Like, you know, not the opposite happened. I didn't feel like great about that. What I instead felt was like, oh god, the things are performing really well, so I need to keep this up now. Like, I need to make use of this. And I stressed myself equally there. So I just disabled all of that. I think it's horrible. I think everyone should not look at that as a YouTuber. You should get enough information to understand what is working while focusing way less on what's not working, right? Because if you don't look at the negatives, like you just look at your top 20 performers this month or so, then you already know, okay, the rest is below it, but I don't need to see the numbers. And that has helped me out a lot. Do you watch other content creators with similar games like yours? And if yes, which ones? Honestly, I usually have bursts of what I watch, and I just stroll around Twitch mostly and go into random chats or and just like, listen to that. On YouTube recently, the one that I watched, like binge watched so much of, is a German YouTuber called Hand of Blood. Because I never realized how much he has changed from the League of Legends times, and nowadays he's so hilarious and does so many amazing things. So I watched I don't know how many best of him, like for the last 5 years, all of them, which is a lot, and so many videos. Similar to my games, I would say probably dangerously funny, but I gotta say I didn't like certain things in the recent months, so I watched way less. Spiffing Brit is someone I constantly watch. And maybe Blitz as well, but there's not that much. Like, I don't watch a lot of YouTube. Like, one that I watch a ton of is Ethos Lab since like forever, but that's like completely different. That's just Minecraft. Do you play other genres of games in your free time, or did you sell your soul? Yes and no. Oftentimes I actually enjoy the games so much that I play them on my own, and when it gets too extreme, then I even start streaming just that I can play more of it. So oftentimes when you see me stream, it's less for anything, and it's mostly because I I'm not supposed to continue playing because I'm supposed to record it, but I really want to play it, so I'm tricking myself, like because I'm just editing the streams then afterwards. So that's kind of what happens there. But I have other games that I play, like League of Legends, not even because I think it's that great. I think every League of Legends player will tell you that. And more because it's such an ease to get into it with friends. You just boot it up and you go into a game. And then I have a bunch of single player games that I mentioned earlier that I really like, and random stuff that I just get into. Especially city builders, base builders, those I absolutely love. Cozy games in general, so something like Stardew Valley and Palia and whatever I come along. Like Animal Crossing, for example, is one of my best childhood memories as games. Which game do you prefer, Potato or Vampire Survivors? So honestly, I don't have a preference. I think this is as if you would ask, what do you prefer, steak or pasta? And it's like, well, I eat steak if I really want steak, and I eat pasta when I really want pasta. There is not a winner for me. Now, some people will say they prefer steak, other people will say they prefer pasta. For me, it's like Vampire Survivors is this calm down but get excited but don't use your brain all too much because the game kind of plays itself type of game. And Potato is more like I need action, I need to use my brain, I want to play chess, but chess doesn't have enough action, so we added an atomic bomb to it, and that is Potato. This is kind of how I view it. So they are not comparable with each other. And it's even hard for me to recommend. Like, if someone would ask me, which of these two games should I get? I think both are tens for their own reason in their own categories. Do you have a reason to not do Holo Cure videos? And so, because this came up a couple of times, I may do it in the future, maybe in a live stream or so. But the main reason was there weren't there were some really not great experiences the last time I played where people got really rude, okay? And like a big part of me does YouTube just for its joy, especially when a game doesn't perform as well as other games, but I see people really enjoy it and love it and they binge watch it, then I still continue uploading it. However, if that then causes something negative for me, and keep in mind, I'm not even saying like, 50-50, 50% of the comments are bad. Bad comments stick out, and you notice them, and they can mess up your entire mood, at least for me. Like, if you just read like one every 20 comments, and Holo Cure has reached like a level of, I honestly, I need to kind of say toxicity, that I didn't enjoy it anymore. But another very big reason was that whenever I'm out of a game, getting back into it is quite a lot of effort. Like, it takes a lot of mental capacity to get back into it, and when you then also have on your mind, yeah, people got quite toxic and annoying and insanely backseaty, like to a point where it's just not fun at all anymore, then I'm like, you know what? It's like, it's for a smaller audience already, and it's also like a worse ad demographic, like the ad revenue is lower, so it's not incentivized for me as a content creator to do it. But if the people then also kind of, bother me and the vibe is bad, and I'm like, you know what? I won't do it, sorry. And again, this is definitely not to all people. Like, there were so many amazing and great people that were so encouraging. And this is, by the way, a thing for kind of every game. Like, every game has its own community. And I notice when I upload, like, one day this game, but the next day the next game, you can distinguish these groups most of the time so well. And one of the biggest reasons why I stopped certain games is just because of the community. Do you plan to stream more often so I can binge more? Now that is a solid question, and the answer is I don't know. Streams for me are more like when I want to hang out with my viewers, with my community, and also answer questions and talk a bit. But it's mostly like for me, it's just fun. I enjoy it. I wouldn't care at all if like barely anyone watches or if there's no revenue tied to it, because it honestly doesn't matter at all. That's not the purpose of it. But this also means, like, I have no incentive to put a regular schedule behind it. Now, if YouTube would ever slow down a lot, my plan is actually to mainly switch over to live streams and do that instead. According to my YouTube rap, I'm in the top fans of Dex, and my goal next year is to be more active during your streams. So my question is, what's the best way to financially support you? I really appreciate it. It's not necessary, okay? Money is actually a good talking point. It's not. So the thing is, if you've been around for a while and also watched some of my posts and streams when I just open up videos and show the earnings, I've never had an issue talking about earnings. But especially this year and since July, I'm at a point of revenue where I feel actually ashamed talking about it because it's so high. And I'm like, that has not that value. Like, I honestly feel kind of a little bit bad about it. And I've considered turning off memberships on my channel and turning off donations and doing certain other changes that would decrease the ad revenue. But like, even if it's like, I can't even really make examples because I feel really weird about it right now, which is not normal for me because I usually openly talk about it. For me, it's just a number. I don't care about money, but I care about money as something that I need to survive, right? So I'm after money to a degree where I want to make sure, even in bad times on YouTube, I'm fine. But like, yeah, I really appreciate it. The best support you can give is just watch a video. If you enjoy it, keep watching it. If not, go away from the video, like, because then I see like the statistics, right? If I should continue that series or not. And that's it. You don't need to do more, but I really appreciate it. Did you finish videos but never uploaded them? And if so, why? I would say every third video that I do is like that. It's mostly, so while I record, I have a certain goal, and sometimes I even like record the same video multiple times, as in I entirely play through it, and afterwards I say I can't draw like a red line through the video. One thing that is actually very important for me is that if you understands in the beginning what I want to do and how we would get there, if it's like a certain challenge type video, where I have a certain goal, that is very different to a video where I just test out a character, because that is like, I don't even know what I want to do because I don't want to really spoiler myself. But even then, I try to create like this red line through the video that you can follow, and it doesn't become very straining and exhausting to watch my video. That's one of my goals. So for that reason, I have deleted or like not published certain videos and either retook them or moved on to something else because I figured, okay, it's just not possible for me to do what I want to do. On the topic of beer, which is your favorite? It's just called Hefeweizen. I don't know how to translate this as like wheat beer or some WHEAT, YouTube, okay? Wheat beer, but I don't know how you would really call that, like how it's called in English. Do you have a family? Like, okay, I'm not like a foster child or like a homeless child or how you would call that. Okay, I do have like parents and I have a brother, but I don't have like a wife and children or stuff like this. So, from 15 to 175k subs in 2 years, how big do you want this channel to grow? I will answer that first. I mean, I never expected any of this. Like, not at all, not in the slightest, nothing at all. So it's like, I have no goal. I just keep doing the stuff that I enjoy and that you guys enjoy, and it seems to be working out, which makes me very happy. And I will just keep going with it. The one thing I need to mention is I know the number is there and it's an insane number, but personally speaking, how I view my channel is it hasn't even really like I haven't really realized that I have more than 10,000 subscribers. I feel tiny. When I get called out in another YouTuber's video, I sit there giggling like a little girl and I'm like, look, he mentioned me. And I'm like, huh, actually we have quite a similar size now. It's like it's still great, right? It doesn't matter that you're like a similar size or so, but the point is it just doesn't feel like it to me. Like I'm like a really big YouTuber and I just feel like I just do my deck stuff, and it's great that people enjoy it, but I don't feel, that I'm like, oh, look at this. I have this and this many people that will follow me into like Poland. And not now. That's for another time. I'm sincerely happy for you, but I personally would be scared knowing that something I made would be watched by hundreds or thousands of people. Do you ever think of that? So, this is something that is definitely on my mind, but more as a factor where I try to limit also certain things that I say. Because I have jokes, right? And close friends will understand them. But online, you have to be a lot more careful what you say. And not even because, like, oh, yeah, people are so sensitive. No, it's not about that. But they don't know you, right? And everyone understands things in their own way. Like, you can say the same sentence to 100 people, and you will have like 50 different ways how it's understood. Or maybe even 200. It could be more than the amount of people. Because, like, everyone can say, like, this, or maybe this, or maybe this. So scared, not at all, but there is a certain obligation, in my opinion, when you reach sizes in general, honestly, if you're public in general online, that you make sure that you don't do stupid things, which you would think is easier said than done, but also sometimes you don't think it's stupid, you just do it as a gag or so, and it turns out, oh god, people, really didn't like that, and it turns out I'm an idiot, Okay, that is a very long comment. I'll try to keep it short, but usually I would always include this in these posts where I make like an evaluation. Now, I will show limited screenshots here where you just see the comparison between last year and this year, up until now at least, how it has been going. And the channel has been doing, like, performing incredibly well, insanely well, ridiculously well. I've tried to put a lot more effort into my videos, and I've also experimented around with, like, longer videos, and people really love that, so I kept doing more of them, but this also meant a lot more work. Which, on one side, I had a huge amount of fun to express myself, and to do the things that I want to do. And I also started doing more edits, like fun edits when something happened, like according to, for example, like sounds that I do or so. But at the same time, if suddenly you take like 2 to 3 the amount of time to edit a video, it's like, oh god, I don't really get to finish anything. And like, I just finished the video, so the next thing I can do is just jump into the next recording because it's the next day and I need another video. So all in all, the stats on the screen should like show everything about the channel. With the money, as I said, I really don't like, I feel kind of embarrassed by that and weird, so I don't know if I'll show that or if I maybe just put bars there that you see like comparisons but not the actual amounts. I gotta see how I do that. Now, for how unexpected the return will be, I don't think it will be all too unexpected, at least so far, every time I had a break. And some of them were mandatory, like I had no choice, is what I want to say with that. People were so welcoming, and I expected a drop in views, but usually the first videos actually performed better than any other videos, and quickly ramped back up to the normal value that it was. Or I guess in that case, it ramped back down, but the point is, there was no drop. So I think it will be fine. But you also always say that until like the opposite happens, right? So let's see about that. As I said, I will randomly upload videos when I feel like it. Maybe I'll also just do a stream instead and then upload videos out of the stream. Edited videos, that's a lot easier for me. But yeah, this was the final question, and if your question wasn't in here, I'm sorry. I'm recording this a little bit earlier because I need to edit it and also decide, do I really want to keep in every single question, go through them? And right now it's the 17th, so that's probably the reason why your question wasn't answered, or it was something like super specific about certain games, like why do you not play this game, or do you want to play this game or so, and most of the times, I already said it, right? I hope you guys have an amazing start into the year 2025 and that you'll have an amazing year. Thank you so much for your support and being a part of this. I really appreciate it. And as I said, I'm super duper grateful that I can do this all YouTube just because of you guys. Thank you and have a good one.